Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crochet and Coffee here, and today we are doing a whip and chat. So get out whatever it is you're working on, cross stitching, crochet, knitting, loom knitting. I don't give a crap. Get out whatever it is you're working on and work along with me. We're gonna be here for about an hour. So kick your feet up, do what you gotta do, y'all. So I am still working on Kimono from DIYMoon shop. She's a 30 by 85. She has 45 colors. And right now we're working right here on her back. So we've essentially completed all of this and we're working on her back now. So hopefully you guys had a wonderful weekend. I had a interesting weekend. Essentially I spent a lot of the weekend trying to get the dogs to stop playing baseball and stuff with my ornaments from my Christmas tree. Does anybody else's pets mess with the ornaments on the tree? Because apparently, if you didn't know, I have a German Shepherd. She's about 110 pounds. She just turned 4 years old. Her name is Daisy. Daisy is a gigantic dog. Daisy on her hind legs is about 6 feet tall. So over the weekend, the tree has been up for a while and she just learned that she could do this. She will spin around really fast next to the Christmas tree and use her tail as a baseball bat. And I think at least 3 times this weekend, I've had to get my tree from in front of the TV. She keeps knocking the tree over to get the bulbs off. And if she doesn't catch, what normally ends up happening is she'll swing around really hard and then her tail will hit one of the Christmas bulbs. And essentially she's using her tail as a baseball bat, because then you'll just see the Christmas bulb go fly across the room and she's just sitting there and she'll go chase it and try to play with it. Now, do keep in mind, I have a Maggie, so my Christmas bulbs are not glass. The last time we had glass Christmas bulbs in my house, Orion had just gotten into video games. And I don't remember what game he thought he was playing, but he took one of the Christmas bulbs, brought it into the kitchen where me, my friend, and Minna were all standing barefoot, no, needless to say. We were all barefoot, just standing chit-chatting in the kitchen. Orion comes in with a glass bulb and goes, he said something. He goes, Mario bomb, or he said something about a bomb and then throws the glass bulb on the ground. That is the last time I've ever bought glass bulbs for my house. But now the dogs have found out that if they spin around the tree hard enough, they can knock the Christmas bulbs off. And then they will chase the bulb around the house. Now, if you try to get the bulb from them, they will then run off. So then I spent a good portion of my weekend picking up my Christmas tree. And at one point, Daisy had decided, oh, well, it would look better outside. She somehow hooked the tree with her tail and then flung it outside. I had the door open because Mr. Coffee went to go get groceries. She just grabbed it with her tail and flung the tree. Like, I go to turn around and I get bombarded in the face with Christmas. Christmas is not being good to me this year. So I'm a little worried. On top of that, then I set my shirt on fire. Now let me explain before you go, how in the hell did you set your shirt on fire? So I was cooking on the stove, obviously, and the aisle was on, and I moved the pot off the aisle so I could grab the seasoning for the chicken that I was making. And I went to go grab the seasoning, and I didn't realize how long my shirt was, and apparently it set itself on fire. Don't worry, it wasn't like, the whole shirt got set on fire, and then the fire department had to be called, and then I'm stopped, dropping, and rolling. It was literally, it singed the end of my shirt. And so, and then it started to catch fire, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, I don't want to take it off, it's going to burn all my hair off my head. And Mr. Coffee's like, take the shirt off. I'm like, no, I'm not taking the shirt off, it's going to burn all the hair off my head. So, there was that. We did movie night with the kids, where we camped out in the living room with popcorn and cookies and all kinds of snacks, and we watched Christmas movies. I wanted to take the kids to go see the Christmas lights at the park, but Saturday night, they're usually really busy, and the wait time to get in is ridiculous. And so I was like, why don't we watch a movie? Like, we'll camp out in the living room Saturday night, and then Sunday we'll go to the lights. Well, it started snowing hard. And so I was like, you guys still want to go see the lights? And the kids were like, they didn't want to go see the lights. They just wanted to go play out in the snow. So we let them go play out in the snow. And when I say that, I meant like they played out in the snow in front of the house here, and I watched from the window because I'm not about that life. I'm not gangsta like that. The first thing I thought in my head was, you had all weekend to snow. You choose Sunday night to snow, and I have to drive in this crap in the morning to take the kids to school. So of course, I wake them up this morning and I'm like, full battle rattle, let's go. Full battle rattle. It snowed all night. We have probably a good 3 to 4 inches of snow. Woke up and the temperature was -1 with a real feel of -22. And I was like, full battle rattle, including mommy. And for me, I usually get a set of Mr. Coffee's old overalls from work. Like, he used to have to wear these green overalls and now he doesn't. So I have stolen them. Yes, I stole them. I have stolen them. You act like you don't steal your spouse's stuff. How many people are married or have a spouse and you don't steal their like baggy t-shirts and stuff? Like, we all steal from our spouse. Let's not judge Miss Coffee for stealing the overalls. Plus, he has another set. But I stole the overalls and I wore those on top of my gigantic jacket. The gigantic jacket is doing well. The zipper works perfectly fine on it. I'm now like super cautious when using the zipper so that I don't break it like the first time. So yeah. So this morning, getting the kids up and trying to keep the dogs from playing with the Christmas tree. Because if you don't watch the dogs, like if I go to the bathroom, I'll come back and they'll be fighting over the Christmas bulb that fell off the tree. Now, I've put the bulbs up higher, but Killian knows how to jump up and like nudge them with his nose if he wants it. But he will only do it when you're not looking. So I went around the corner this morning just to see if he would do it. And he did. He jumped up, and he's not trying to jump up on the tree. He literally jumps up high enough to bump it with his nose to knock it off the tree. And then him and Daisy will kick it around the house. To which then I have children chasing the dogs. I'm chasing the children and the dogs. And they're chasing the Christmas bulb. It was a whole hot mess in here this morning. Meanwhile, we got the music from the Echo playing. And it just looks like one of those old school cartoons like Tom and Jerry, where they're going in one door and out the other. We're running in Orion's room. We're running in Maggie's room. We're running in their bathroom. We're running in my room. And the dogs are just having a blast because they think it's hilarious. And then, of course, it snowed. So we usually, when it snows, and I don't feel comfortable because I'm still a little scared after last year. If you don't remember, or you weren't here last year, I got into a car accident last year and I flattened my tire. And nobody was hurt in the incident. The kids were fine. Matter of fact, as I was hitting the curb and the car hit me, they were just saying, wee! So the kids are fine. But I am, like, deathly afraid of driving in the snow. And you're probably like, then why'd you move to North Dakota? It wasn't like, you know, hey, hun, let's move our whole family to North Dakota because that sounds like a great idea. No, my husband worked up here for 5 years by himself and then decided to move us out here with him. So we blame Mr. Coffee for all the shenanigans. Sorry, I'm looking for my bigger multi-placer. So yeah, so this morning was fun because then after we, settled the dogs down from chasing the bulbs around the house, I get the kids dressed and I go, okay, we usually leave about 10 minutes early because I know I have to get them on, like, to the school by 1:30 or by 7:30. So that they can have breakfast. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so let's get everybody in the car. And I usually take the dogs with me. They sit in the trunk of my car, which I have a SUV. So the SUV's trunk is huge. But I'll let the dogs go pee and then I'll put them in the back of the car. And then the kids sit because my car technically has third row seating. So the dogs essentially sit in the third row seating and the trunk. So that should tell you how much space they have. They have enough space that they can both lay down and sit up at the same time if they wanted to. Not that that would be physically possible, I guess. Either way. So Killian, of course, is my Siberian Husky. And if you know anything about Siberian Huskies, they love the snow. So I don't need to tell you that I spent more time outside this morning than I wanted to. And no, I was not chasing him today. Not doing it. Nope. I sat in that car for a good 45 minutes waiting for him to be done burying himself in the snow. He's doing barrel rolls. He's chasing Daisy. Daisy's looking at me like, Mommy, can I come sit in the car with you? So I came and got Daisy. and brought her in the car with me. And Killian's still out there having the time of his life. He found a tennis ball buried in the snow. He was just going to town. He was playing catch all by himself. All by himself. He don't care if he's all, like, he was all by himself. He didn't have a care in the world. He was having a blast. And I'm like, who am I to tell you can't have a blast, buddy? Go ahead. I'm up here checking messages on my phone and stuff because I'm like, if he gonna be out there, I gotta check these messages before I start recording this morning. I gotta make sure there ain't nothing I need to talk about in my whipping chat this morning. So if you don't know, I record my whipping chats a day early. So today is actually Monday, December 9th. I just actually got off the phone with my sister Tisha, and apparently one of her coworkers wants to start diamond painting. So she was asking me some questions. I actually will be doing a series on the channel this week, which, if you haven't already started seeing the double videos, you guys will be getting double videos. Now, for my veteran diamond painters, you'll probably just be like, I don't really need to watch that. And you don't. But if you do happen to watch it, if you could do me a favor, and if I leave out anything, please feel free to write it down in the comment section so that those folks that are new, because I have noticed an influx of new people on my channel, so that those folks that are new have something to, if I miss a point of something, you know, you can reiterate, you know, hey, by the way, you could also do that like this. We are all here to learn from each other. And though I'm making the videos, you guys can also help new diamond painters coming into the community by helping, you know, put little tips and tricks at the bottom in the comment section. So I would greatly appreciate it if you guys could help a sister out there. I also will be announcing this week the Crafty Sass Along. It was something that was announced in my live. I will have more information on it in my Whip It Wednesday, but essentially it's going to be a crafting a craft along, but essentially it's going to be a little bit different than normal, where you can work on a normal project. Most of the projects that are going to be aimed for this Crafty Sass Along wouldn't be considered, let's say, appropriate in everyday society. So like curse words and boobs, and, you know, we just ask that you don't do, like, you know, I don't know how to say this without being raunchy, but it's going to be like a raunchy craft along where you can do any craft you want. Just no dick pics. Please don't send me inappropriate penis pictures. I don't want to see that. I really don't. Not that the majority of my fan base has the equipment to send those, but I don't want to see female ones either. Either way. Again, I'll have more information on that. Anybody can join the Crafty Sass Along if you have something crafty, that's sassy, that you would like to enter in. And then what I'll do is every Tuesday I'll put up a thread in my Facebook group, Crafters Anonymous with Miss Crochet and Coffee and Rachel Ray. Yes, I do share a YouTube or a Facebook group with one of my favorite YouTubers. And we allow all crafts in our group. So it's not like a one-trick pony group. It's, you know, if you craft on something, adult color, what have you, you can share it in my group as long as you know, as long as it's made by with your own hands. That's kind of the only rule that I try to enforce in there, besides like no self-promoting. Let's not talk about religion, because, you know, we all come from different backgrounds and stuff. But yeah, anyways, so we will be having more announcing on that. So I'll be starting my own, for the first time, event, which I'm kind of nervous about because, you know, it's a sassy craft along, which is why it's going to be called the Crafty Sass Along. So the sass, just, you know, curse words and stuff like that. Like I have a cross-stitching book of nothing but like snarky terms and phrases and quotes. So I'm pretty freaking excited to show you guys. So yeah, so we have that going on. We'll have, you know, Wednesday you might get 3 videos, because I have Whip It Wednesday, I have What You Got Wednesday, I have a bunch of unboxings that I need to do this week. So looking out for those, because of course you guys know Diamond Art Club came out with new images for this weekend, and I saved my money. I didn't buy anything from the buy one get one sale or the the Black Friday sale or anything like that, because I knew they were coming out with new images, and I couldn't afford to get the buy one get one and the VIP. I got one from the VIP sale, which was Sunflower, which I already unboxed that. But I got some of the new releases because, you know, I saved up my money to get the new releases instead of worrying about getting the buy one get one and stuff. So I have that unboxing. Hopefully Paint Gym, because I ordered my Paint Gym canvas at the same time as Rachel Ray. and she's already unboxed hers like a week or so ago, and mine has yet to get here. So I'm hoping that that comes in this week. I have some fabric coming in for a King of the Hill cross stitch that I want to start. And I'm really mad at myself right now because I thought I was being a big girl. And if you guys didn't know, or you're new to the channel, hey, I'm Miss Coffee. I am colorblind. So I am red-green colorblind. I, for the most part, can function like a normal person, but I slip up a lot and you guys just don't notice, or, you know, you don't judge me, which I love you guys for that. So I picked out the threads for my Loot Llama, which is the project I was currently working on, which I would have been finished by now if I hadn't messed it up. But I picked out the colors for it, the floss, and come to find out 3 out of the 5 colors was wrong. And so Mr. Coffee just happened to notice it right as I was changing colors, and he's like, where does that color go? And I was like, it goes, you know, for the neck and stuff. And he goes, isn't the neck purple? Apparently, instead of picking out a purple, I picked out a beige. And I was just like, oh. So, because I didn't have that color, I went to my local Walmart. Went to local Walmart. They didn't have all the DMC threads, but they had a couple. So I grabbed 2 of every skein that they had, which was like almost $50. That's on top of like the Ada cloth and the wooden hoop. I like wooden hoops. I don't like the plastic ones. They never stay still. And then the wooden hoop kept coming loose, so I had to order Q snaps this weekend. So I have Q snaps coming, and like you guys will see the progress on my cross stitching stuff, which there's only 2 projects. One is like a third of the way done, and the other one, I just got the first couple of rows in before I realized that apparently I had the wrong floss. I did find a lady online that was selling them. She had 10 skeins for $7 and free shipping from California. So I was like, and sold. It's a lot to pay for floss, but I need the floss for my project, and to buy it from anywhere else, I was going to pay probably twice as much for that, especially with shipping. So yeah, and it's the holidays, so I'm hoping it gets here in a reasonable time, because I can't work on any of the projects that I currently, well, besides my pineapple, I can't work on any of the other projects until that floss comes in, because it's all colors that I am missing. And then I also have a collector's tin of some of the new DMC colors coming. So I'm pretty excited about the cross stitching stuff. I did a little bit of latch hooking on Friday night after I finished my live, which, if you're new, I go live every Friday night on the channel, from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then, of course, that's 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or whatever it is for you fine folks. So, yeah. Don't mind Daisy. She's a grumbly girl today. She's mad because I'm sitting in here and I'm keeping an eye on her, because, again, she keeps knocking the bulbs off the tree and chasing them. And there's nothing that can hurt them with the Christmas bulbs. Like, they can break, but they're shatterproof because they're like plastic. So they can't like attack the bulb and hurt themselves, like cut themselves. But I of course don't want them playing with them, because I don't want them to think that those are toys. So that every year I'm having to chase them around the house like a cartoon character trying to get the bulb from them. It took us a good 10 minutes this morning to get the bulbs away from them. So I don't want to continuously do that. So yeah. So what else happened this weekend? My shirt caught fire. Told you about that. The dog's using the bulbs as playing baseball. Told you about that. Maggie has been in a mood all weekend. I'm not sure her deal. She's going through a growth spurt, which for Maggie is not necessarily like the best thing ever. We just had her meds adjusted, and from the looks of it, we're going to have them adjusted again. I can already see the change in her attitude, and the medicine. The sad part is the medicine makes her irritable, and I'm like she needs help with that. Like, what child needs help with being irritable? So one of the couple of the side effects from the medication she's on is irritability, she can't pay attention to stuff, like she loses interest in she doesn't, lack of attention span, I guess, something like that, and lack of appetite sometimes, and she's experiencing all of those right now. And I'm like, well, that's odd, because she's been on this medicine for a while, but the side effects are just now showing up. Like, she got upset because she was told to take her blanket away from the dinner table. She stomped off and put herself to sleep at 6:30 last night. And I'm like, well, it's close to bedtime anyways. I don't really want to wake her up. Like, do you ever let your kid just go, like, if they throw a fit and they fall asleep towards the end of the night, you don't wake them up. You just, wherever they lay, you cover them with a blanket. She slept on the floor last night. I wasn't about to pick her up. Why run the risk of waking her up and then her thinking that she's supposed to be up for the rest of the night? No, no, no. I just laid a blanket over her. Her carpet's soft, and I just vacuumed, so she'll be fine. She woke up this morning and she said she had a headache. And I was like, yeah, we're going to have to get you into the doctor. So I have to call the doctor's office this morning to get her seen for her winter checkup, because she gets a checkup every year right before Christmas, like usually a week or two before Christmas. Her neurologist will get her in to be seen just to see if there's any changes, if we have any questions, stuff like that. If they change her medication at all, more than likely we'll have to go up and see them so that they can like do all the prep stuff, unless they let us do it here like they did last time. So we'll have to wait and see on that. I'm hoping we don't have to make the trip, because even right now, the snow is pretty bad. Like I said, it snowed last night, and right now I think we have a good 3 to 4 inches on the ground. Which when it snows like that, we leave early. Like I was saying earlier, I got the kids in the car, and I got the dogs in, and I was like, all right, guys, slow rolling. Make sure your seatbelts are on. Make sure they're buckled up tight. And Orion just sits back there, and he goes, yeah, because we know Mommy can't drive well in the snow. You know what? I'll kick you out of this car and make you push the car to school. You want to have an attitude like that? Why you always got to be hating on me because I don't like driving in the snow? And I can't show them that I'm scared to death of driving, but my whole life is in that car. My dogs and my children are in that car, so I have to do everything I have to do to be safe, which means a 1.5-minute car ride takes us 10 minutes. Why? Because I'm doing 2 miles an hour. I don't care. The good thing about it is people here are really nice, and they won't honk at you or get mad if you drive slow when it snows, because they know a lot of people aren't from around here. So they will literally, like, one of my husband's coworkers actually had been happening. I guess he was on his way into work, and he actually like followed me to the school to make sure I got there okay. And I was like, well, thank you so much. You know, I greatly appreciate it. I just, you know, I'm always fearful of driving in the snow. And he's like, yeah, your husband said you were. So I figured since I was on my way in, they wouldn't mind if I stopped and helped you out. And all he literally did was like follow behind me to make sure I didn't get into an accident or anything, because I'm so fearful of getting into another accident like I did last year. So he followed me out to the school and then made sure I got home okay. So, well, technically I didn't get home okay. I got to the dog park okay, and I told him I could take care of it from there. So, because I didn't want him to have to wait for me with the dogs, because I knew Killian was going to do that I'm not coming in thing, and I'm going to play outside, which is fine because, you know, he's a snow dog. That's what they do. He got 45 minutes of barrel rolling in the snow and running around. And I had a tennis ball that I keep in the cup holder of the car for whenever I take them out and I drive them to the dog park, which will probably be for like the next couple of days until the weather is not in the negatives, because, you know, your temperature isn't supposed to have like a minus sign in front of it, but mine's does. I almost put that in the wrong bag, Jesus. Have you ever mixed up drills, separated them, and then mixed them up again? Yeah, I did that 3 times this morning when I was trying to record this video. So bear with me, folks. Just bear with me. Either way. But yeah, I have an influx of new folks coming in that are new to diamond painting, want tips and tricks and all that kind of fun stuff. So I will be doing a series of videos on tips and tricks and stuff like that. So if you are a veteran diamond painter and would like to put your 2 cents in, please feel free to put it in the comment section. Just don't be mean about it, okay? These people are trying to learn. They're not here for drama, okay? So if I say something wrong or whatever, you know, just like, oh, hey, Miss Coffee, you did this, but, you know, if you do it like this, it's much better. All right, thanks, cool. Like, just be nice. This is supposed to be learning, not like, let's see who's got the bigger balls. Like, come on now. Either way. So yeah, so I'm hoping for a relaxing week, just because of the simple fact that this weekend was like crazy. Maggie got sick on Orion, then Orion got sick all over himself, and that was crazy. That happened Sunday night. And I'm trying to record, and Maggie is, you know, doing the most. She's running around like a chicken with her head cut off. Smitty, Werbing, Egerman, Jensen, our elf on the shelf, took a break this weekend. He decided he wasn't going to move. I put him in the vase on the counter. The vase looks into the kids' rooms, and I told them that he was keeping an eye on them, because for the most part, Maggie has actually been trying to read. So we set up some little like her little Barbie chairs for her Barbies, like she's like reading to them. And she's been trying to read to her Barbies, which is awesome because usually you can't get Maggie to read to save your life. And the fact that she wants to read to her Barbies is amazing. So that's a plus. Orion's been doing a lot of reading himself because, he watched a documentary. Like I walked in the other day and he was watching a documentary on Fortnite, which is the little game he likes to play. So there was that. Look, we got Big T. And as you can see, we're busting this out real quick. Like this is, yeah, I was trying to wait until the end of the contest to finish it, but I passed the worst part of it. Her kimono is really confetti heavy, and that slows you down. But once you get past that, yeah, it's not as bad. So I'm like sitting here like, oh God. I don't know if it's going to be able to wait that long. Plus, that's another whole week. Like, it's a week from the day you're seeing this video that contest is over. And if you have not entered the contest, get over there and enter the contest, folks. Okay, so next we need Jay. So, yeah, so the weekend was pretty chill. We didn't get a chance to go see the lights because of the snow. And because it snowed, they shut down the park too because of they hadn't had a chance to get out there with the plows and make sure the driving area was safe because you don't want to crash when you're supposed to be in the holiday spirit. That's not Christmassy. So we're hoping to go sometime this week. Also, we need to find Santa. My kids have never taken a picture with Santa. That's awful, I know. But just up until a couple of years ago, we never really had Christmas. We didn't have the money. Now that we're doing okay for ourselves, the kids are going to have an awesome Christmas. I just wish Minna was here to enjoy it with us, but we'll send her gifts in the mail. Sorry, I'm looking for my next color. All right, sorry about that. Apparently, my sister decided that this would be a good time to call and say hi because she's bored and unemployed. So yeah, so we're hoping to take the kids to go see Santa. I just have to find Santa. We don't have a mall around here, so it's not like, go see the mall Santa. And I don't think Santa comes to Walmart here. Like where I lived at in Pennsylvania, Santa came to Walmart. Santa's he's too good to come to Walmart here. So now I got to go search for Santa. So I got to ask around to my neighbors, where do they go get pictures with Santa? I wanted to take family pictures, but they don't have like a photographer here. And I'm like, at this point, I'll put the phone up on the couch. I have enough photography equipment and stuff from when I used to take pictures that I can just do it myself. So, like, being self-sufficient and all. So, yeah, so the weekend was pretty chill. And we got some of the kids' gifts in. Now, when do you guys wrap gifts? We always wait until, like, the day before. But because we're not going to have the space, we're thinking about wrapping them up and putting them under the tree now. Well, we were until we realized that the dogs think that the Christmas ornaments are baseballs and that they can use their tails as bats. Killian's tail, both dogs have curly tails, which I didn't realize it before. Before I got Daisy, I didn't realize that German Shepherds had curly tails. Like, they don't curl up like a Chow Chow or like a Husky's, but they do have a hook, like they get like a hook to them. So Daisy will use that hook to knock everything off a shelf. And we're going to pull this up a little bit. We finished that section. I don't do sections like everybody else. Like everybody else does like the fancy washi tape and stuff. And they're like, oh, look, this is a section. No, I don't like boundaries. So we're just going to pull it up a little bit like that. We're just going to, there we go. And I need some minders. What minders are we going to use today? So let's see. We'll use the inhaler, which that came from Tiny Pufferfish and her dad. So thank you, Tiny Pufferfish and Daddy. I will link Tiny Pufferfish down below. She sells minders and pens. And then we need one more. We'll do the reindeer from Shine Like a Diamond. How about that? It's Christmas. There's a little reindeer. Isn't it cute? That will keep the plastic from, messing with me while I'm trying to diamond paint here. All right, so let's get these A's out of the way because they're on the edge. So hopefully you guys had an awesome crafty weekend. I did all the things. I decided that I wanted to try using my watercolors, my paint, if you don't know what that is. I've never used watercolors before, except for like in high school. In high school, we had to do this project. And we were in art class, obviously. And you had to research an artist. And of course, I researched this is when the artist became my favorite artist. Salvador Dali is my absolute favorite artist of all time. I just love how different and unique his work is, and how like it's not like the norm of, I mean, it's his artwork is out there, but it's not like, it's not like a Van Gogh or something that's meant to be gorgeous or beautiful. It's something unique that you see what you see, and all art is subjective. So I love his artwork, and we had to paint his artwork on a shoe. And so we had to ask our parents, obviously, to buy us shoes to paint all over. And that was a fun thing to do, because if you have parents like mine, they don't like wasting money. And it was always, I ain't trying to waste all this money on buying shoes for you to be doing stuff like that. So, like, yeah, it was a whole hot mess. But I did get the shoes, and I did paint them. I just have no idea what happened to it. I think we moved before we were allowed to take the shoes home. Because as a child, I am a military brat. All three of my parents were in the military. By all three, that means, my dad got divorced and married again. So, like, I had two moms. Technically, I only have one mom. The other lady was just incubator. Either way, that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, I decided to use my paints this weekend. I was in the live with CL Aldridge Art this weekend, and she was making these adorable little characters and painting them with her watercolors. And I was like, oh, she's doing a tutorial on watercolors. I just got some of those. Cool. So I pull out my watercolors, and she draws up this little image that she found a tutorial for on another channel. And I was just like, oh, dude, I could totally do that. It's real simple and easy. You ever tell yourself something is real simple and easy, and then you try to do it, and it's harder than surgery? Yeah. This isn't open heart surgery. You're literally drawing a very undetailed little deer. And for some reason, I tried for an hour to draw this deer. And I didn't want it to be perfect. I just wanted it to look like a deer. And every time I would try to draw the deer, it looked like it was judging everyone. Like, it just looked like either it was judging everyone, or it had a maniacal plan to take over the world. And I was like, okay, I don't want the evil deer. I just want it to have like a normal little cutesy face. Yeah, no. Mr. Coffee watched me struggle making that deer for an hour. He looked at the picture one time, drew the deer up, and goes, there you go, honey. Now you can paint it. By this time, CL Aldridge Art was already offline. I had already missed, like, I watched her and the techniques that she used. And I went, well, now I don't want to color the picture that he drew, because I didn't want to mess it up and then have him be like, well, I don't feel like drawing it again. So I was just like, well, I'm just gonna try to color one of my Hannah Lynn images. So I took one of my Hannah Lynn images out and I painted it. The first one turned out awful. Second one, it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. So, like, I was just like, I'm gonna need a lot more practice with this. So yeah, so I at least attempted to use my watercolors. And then I had an unusual name come into my live stream on Friday, and I was like, I've never seen this person. So I was like, at first I thought it was a troll, and then I realized it was a real person. And JJ Space was saying about, she watches the lady all the time. It's One Virtuous Mom, I believe is her name. And JJ was telling me that, she watches her all the time, and she's a crocheter. And I was like, oh, snap. Well, she probably saw the name and went, oh, she crochets. I do crochet, just not all the time. Not as often as I used to. And so I was in her live stream, and she showed this thing called an Addie. Or Addie. Addi. She has a king-size Addie and can make a beanie in 30 minutes. And I was like, I'm sorry, say what now? You ever have somebody tell you about something that you lived all the years of your life without having, and you were perfectly fine, but then the moment they tell you about it, you're like, I need this in my life immediately. Like, how did I live all of my life without it? If I can get this machine, I'm probably going to start selling beanies. Because, yeah, they make it's like a loom knitting machine, but it does it for you. Like, you don't have to pull all the little things off the hook. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Because, like, that would be awesome. So I now have something new on my Christmas wish list, 3 weeks before Christmas. Hopefully Santa hears me when I yell at him that I want this machine so bad. And a couple of people were like, you don't necessarily have to get the really expensive one. They have the littler ones that are just as good. And I'm like, if it's just as good, believe me, I'd rather save the $150 because that thing is $220 on Amazon. And I was like, oh, good God. Can I get an Amazon gift card for Christmas? Jeez. So I'm hoping to get one of those. If I do get one of those, of course, I will show it to you guys, and I will do a tutorial on how to use it once I figure out how to use it. And I will probably start selling beanies. Now, they won't be anything like special or unique. Like, they won't be like a graph beanie or anything, because it's probably going to take me a while to learn how to do that. But they'll just be like basic, puff beanies. But the fact that I can make so many of them, good God. Plus, if you live like in an area like I do, you need a prayer and a lot of freaking layers, okay? Because it is cold. Even Mr. Coffee was like, it's a little chilly outside today. Is it? Like, I hooked up the space heater in my room. Now, we have free heat in my apartment. But to keep everybody in the house from boiling to death, I will not use, I will turn it up to, like, it'll be up to 70 because we have to keep it up below 65 from the time it snows for the first time until, like, late June. So we have to keep the heaters on so that the pipes don't burst in our apartment. And that's another reason why we get free heat is because, we have to have it on for a certain amount of time during the winter time. And they're not going to force you to pay for heat when they're telling you, in order to keep our apartment building from having bursting pipes, please keep your heaters on, which was hilarious because somebody didn't get the memo and a pipe burst in the building next to ours. So then everybody was out without water for a while. I was like, oh, that sucks. So now, like, I'm sitting there and I make sure to turn on my space heater in my bedroom for if I get a little too cold. The only problem is the only person that really has to suffer is Mr. Coffee. Well, I shouldn't say that. Mr. Coffee and Killian, because Killian sleeps in our room and he'll get mad when it comes on. He'll bark at it, smack it with his paw, and then go lay on the other side of the room because I have the space heater literally pointing right on my side of the bed. Because Mr. Coffee is just like, it's always so hot in here. No, it's not. It's comfortable. It's like 102 degrees in here. Yeah, so what's wrong with that? I need to cleanse my sins away. Okay, let me have this. He's always complaining that everything I do is too hot. So, like, I'll take a shower and I'll turn the hot water all the way on. He's like, that's too hot. I'm like, I'm washing my sins away. The room is too hot. You have the heater turned up too hot. I'm cleansing my sins away. Sweating out my sins. You don't know what I do with my life. So, yeah. So, like, it's cold. And anytime there's a negative number in the temperature, yeah, the space heater comes out. He already knows. I'm like, you might as well get ready. I compromise, though. I get to turn on the space heater. He gets to turn on the ceiling fan. Boom. And for me, it's a win-win because all that does is just blow the hot air around. And, of course, we keep the bedroom door open so that it's not only just heating our room, it's heating the house as well in case it gets a little nipply at night because we are right on the corner of the apartment complex, so we get a lot of the wind. So I always make sure that he gets to turn the ceiling fan on to blow the air, disperse it evenly throughout the house. I was laughing, though, because this has nothing to do with the heater. Follow along, folks. My brain is all over the place today. So I was laughing because he was making a sandwich. Now, this has happened once before. I can't remember if I told you guys about this last week or not. But last week, he came home to have lunch with the kids. And Killian, he was talking to me, but he was talking with his hands. And Mr. Coffee had a slice of turkey in his hand. And Killian came up and snatched it out of his hand. Well, he didn't really snatch it. He licked it. And right as Mr. Coffee went to go put it on his sandwich, he was just like, did he just lick my turkey? I'm like, yeah, he did. He licked it. And he looked happy about it, too. So he just gave him the slice of turkey. Yesterday, it happened again where Mr. Coffee was talking to me. And he's flinging the turkey around. He's just sitting there like this with the turkey in his hand. And Killian sees it, goes up and like licks it, but then takes a little bite, like a little chomp out of it. And he goes, he did it again. I'm like, one day you will learn that you cannot talk with your hands around your dog, especially if you have food, because he will take it. He has no shame. Killian says there's no turkey shame. So yeah. That was something else funny that happened this weekend, because, you know, these things happen a lot in the Tepper house. But I have a few announcements to make on Wednesday. I haven't ironed it out yet. So if you were in my live, you heard about the Crafty Sass along that I will be hosting, where we're going to work on sassy projects, which can be anything from cross-stitching, knitting, loom knitting, what have you. It doesn't necessarily, if you don't want to participate in the sassy part of it, you don't necessarily have to. You can just post your project. And then Tuesdays, I will have a thread up asking for the projects that they want to have shown in the video. And then Wednesday afternoon, you'll get that video. So yeah. Sorry, I keep looking at the guy outside. It's weird here in North Dakota. I'm still not used to it. They have these tiny little they kind of look like bulldozers almost. And they shovel the snow off the sidewalks and stuff with that instead of with shovels. And then they'll just like throw all the excess snow into the grass, which is fine. But I live on the first floor, so all the snow essentially, when the wind blows, which it normally does when it snows, when the wind blows, it blows all that snow onto my my porch. So right now I need to get the kids' bikes after I'm done here. I have to go get the kids' bikes and take them to the garage so that they don't get all rusted from the snow, because it's snowed twice now. The sad part is winter doesn't hit until November 23rd, but winter here was just like, nah, hold my beer. So yeah, so the winter is holding up already, and if this is any idea of what it's going to be like for the actual winter, you guys say a prayer for Miss Coffee, because she ain't going to make it. I'm already paranoid about taking the kids to school. We did have a good time at Read to Your Child at School Day on Friday. Every month they host one Read to Your Child at School Day where you come in and read to your kid at school. I wasn't excited about it. I never really am, because that just means I have to leave the freaking house, and I freaking can't stand leaving the house. But I'm like, it gets me out of the house, which is what I wanted, so, you know, I'll go. And we went, and there was this little kid there that, like, of course, there's always that one kid that looks at me. Now, take it, remember, I'm 6'1", 184 pounds. And the little kid looks at me, he goes, "Are you Orion's mom?" And I'm like, I look down at him, I'm like, I sure am. "You're tall. Orion's not tall like you." I'm like, "Nope, not yet, but he's growing." And little boy's like, "My mom says I won't get tall because her and my dad are little and fat." And I was like, oh snap. Did you just throw shade on your parents? Oh God. He goes, "But are you pregnant?" You guys, why do little kids have to ask that question? Why? Little kids tell you the truth whether you like it or not. And when he asked me was I pregnant, I wanted to roundhouse kick him like Patrick Swayze in the movie Roundhouse. You know, the one with Sam Elliott? Yeah, that one. But you can't do that at the school because it might be frowned upon and they might call the cops on you. Plus the cops were already at the school, so yeah, no thank you. And I just looked at him and I smiled and I was like, "No, I'm not pregnant. I just like tacos." And little boy's like, "I like tacos too." And there's always that one kid at your child's school that wants to talk to you about his entire life history. And a lot of times I'll just sit there and listen, but I'm trying to read to the kids. So I was like, all right, I nicely excused myself, went to go walk away. The teacher must have known. Now, remember, me and Miss Phillips, which is Orion's teacher, sorry, I got to stretch. We don't necessarily get along the best. So I'm just like, she must have seen the little boy talking to me, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Miss Tapper, would you like to read to Zed today?" And I was like, "Well, I don't want to take away from Zed's parents." And she goes, "Oh, well, they're not going to be able to make it, so you can read to them." She just gives me this smile like, "Yeah, take that, chick." I was like, "You know what, Miss Phillips? Why don't we just go rounds now? Like, I got some boxing gloves. You can probably get a set. we can get some boxing gloves and we can just have at it. Like we can make this thing happen, because you and me about to fight. You about to pair me up with this little kid. And the entire time I'm trying to read to him, he's just a going and a going and a going. And then I have these other two little kids that are sitting behind us that are snickering behind us. If you don't know what snickering is, it means they're laughing and well, I'm sitting there and I hear the little boy snickering, and then I hear him say Orion's name and start snickering again. And I was like, oh, we got some bullies over here. I'm like, Orion, who are these two little boys behind me? And he goes, oh, yeah, that's, this kid and that kid. They're not the nicest kids in class. I'm like, they're not? Why not? And he goes, they're always being mean to people. I'm like, they ever mean to you? And he's like, yeah, sometimes. And I'm like, do you tell your teacher? And he goes, no, there's no point. I was like, well, dude, you don't want people messing with you. And he's like, yeah, but they don't mess with me too often. And, the teacher says that it's because they're what he said? He said the teacher says that it's because they have a learning disability. That's what it was. He said they have a learning disability, so the teacher says, they act out sometimes. And I'm like, I'm sorry, so did she just give them the green light to pick on other students? So I called the teacher over and I explained to her that, this isn't going to fly. These little kids are back here making fun of my son. And you're just going to write it off as, because they have a learning disability. And Miss Phillips was just kind of like, well, yeah, because it's not like you can do much. So, they're harmless. And I'm like, I don't care if they're harmful. I don't want my son being picked at school. That's not why I sent him to school. And the little boy finally, when the teacher left from beside us, he looks up at me and he's like, you're tall. Thanks. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Tell me something I don't know. And he's like, is Orion your son? Yes. What about the little girl? I was like, that's his sister, Maggie. Yes. He goes, do they have the same dad? Yes. He goes, why aren't they as black as you? You know what? I'm like, okay. Now, for those of you who don't know, my husband is white. I am black, so obviously we have mixed children. We have 3 beautiful mixed children. I actually have a daughter from a previous relationship, but if you tell Mr. Coffee that's not his kid, he'll more likely cut you. So that's his 3rd kid. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's because their dad is white. And they're like, I didn't think you were allowed to do that. Allowed? I'm like, you can do anything you want as long as you're not hurting anybody. And he's like, well, what if I say it hurts my feelings? I'm like, well, that sucks for your feelings. Please teach these kids to be tolerant of other people and not be rude little buttholes, because that rude little butthole almost got kicked in his face. I shouldn't say mean things about children, but when you come up and you're like snickering about my kid and then ask me a bunch of stupid questions about crafting, like, I tend to get a little pissy. So, but either way, but the actual event went really good. The kids got to go to, they have this thing now where the kids can go to the school store, which every Friday they open up a school store. And this week in the school store is stuff that kids could buy for their parents for Christmas. And Orion had been saving up all his Tooth Fairy monies to buy mommy and daddy something for Christmas. So I let him go in, and okay, this is how it went. So he goes, Mom, can we go to the school store before we go home? And I was like, sure. We go over to the school store, and he goes, okay, can I pick out something for daddy? And I was like, yeah. And as I'm walking around, I'm pointing out stuff that I like. And then he goes, okay, Mommy, now it's time for you to leave. And I was like, all right. So I walk out of the library, and I go sit at the bench right next to the library. And it's funny because then some little kid walks by, and they're like, are you in timeout? Yep, I'm taking an adult timeout. Just sitting here chilling like a villain. And Orion comes back, and he goes, all right, Mom, I'm done shopping. And then we came home. So it was actually a really nice little event. I like the fact that they had the little store for the parents so that the kids can buy their parents something. And Orion apparently had been saving up all his Tooth Fairy money. Like, he had like $40. And I'm like, well, good God, how many tooth did you lose? We got to get better at being parents and making sure you brush your teeth if you missing enough teeth to have $40. Here I find out that Mr. Coffee, when it comes time to giving the kids money for their teeth, Mr. Coffee is the one that's in charge of it, okay? Why is my husband handing out $5 bills for these teeth? He was supposed to be giving them 50 cents. And then he goes, well, I didn't have change the one time. And then if I feel bad if I gave him $5 the first time and not $5 the second time if another one fell out. He had saved up $40. I was proud of him that he saved up the $40. But $5 a tooth? Come on, Mr. Coffee. My husband's a hot mess. Either way. So yeah, so that was Friday and this weekend. So hopefully this week will go better. Again, you guys are going to see an influx of videos because of all the new folks that are coming into the community that are learning how to diamond paint or want to learn how to diamond paint. I'm going to be doing tutorials and tips and tricks and how to fix your canvas and how to repair it after, you put paper on it, all that fun jazz. All I have to do is record the videos, which I probably will start recording those, which you might start to see them already if you haven't already. So yeah, little T. I was like, hold up, what's color are we working on? But yeah, I'm hoping that maybe at one point, like I remember when we first put the Christmas tree up. I just thought about this because I looked up at the Christmas tree. The first year we had the Christmas tree up, we had to put the bulbs up high because the kids were babies. Now that the kids aren't babies, we now have to put the Christmas bulbs up because of the dogs. I'm hoping one year I can just have a Christmas tree that doesn't involve a dog or a kid attacking it. Luckily I don't have any cats because, yeah. I also need to go watch National Lampoon's, Christmas. If you've never seen that movie, you have to go watch it. Randy Quaid in that movie is like, that is my everything right there. He's, oh my God, just go watch the movie. If you do no other Christmas movies this year, do National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Oh my God, hilarious. So yeah. But I think that is it. I think that's all I have for you folks today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please put those down in the comments section below. With that said, folks, I am now going to bid you adieu. If you're not already a subscriber but would like to see more random crazy videos just like this one, please feel free to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified anytime I randomly decide to put up a video. And believe me, it's random. With that said, folks, thank you again so much for watching, but I now have to bid you adieu. But not before reminding you, like I always try to, be kind, be courteous, be cool. Bye, guys.